Hello everybody, welcome to Glaze's Geezer Garage. Hey, it's been a little while since we've done a video. I'm back working on the Corvette again. As you can see here, I got the old bumpers kind of mocked up. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get a lot of the parts mocked up because these parts attach to the Roadster Shop chassis. And because it's a replacement chassis, not that I don't trust Roadster Shop, I just want to mock everything up before I get the chassis powder coated. Well, what I've done is I bought these stock LS3 manifolds, and I like the way they fit. Give me plenty of room for exhaust. Yeah, I kind of like the way it looks. Plenty of clearance on the motor mounts and everything. So yeah, I like it. As you can see here, what I did was I actually I made basically a duplicate of the stock crossmember. I just widened the riser. And the reason I did that is it's going to give me plenty of room for exhaust pipe to come out of here and curve on both sides, especially this side, because with the old crossmember, it was getting me pretty close to here. So by doing this, I can basically come out through here, stay away from the transmission, come right up through here with my exhaust pipe. So I'm pretty excited about that. I have a bracket, a reinforcement bracket, like a truss to make, but I'm gonna, instead of going over the bottom of it like this one, I'm actually gonna go over the top up here because I have plenty of room. I'm gonna go over the top, create the truss for strength, but give me plenty of clearance for exhaust pipe. So that's, hope you can see that. There's my clearance up through there. You can see there's plenty of clearance up through there. That's why I built that new cross member. So as you can see here, these are the stock manifolds, which I think I'm gonna use. I'm gonna get them ceramic coated, but coming right out here, got plenty of room down through here. Come right through here. Do a couple bends right into the Borla muffler. And then what I'm gonna do on the rear is if you come down through here, come out the rear, come out, go straight up over here. There's plenty of room here. Come up here, close to the frame as possible. Stay away from the battery box. Come down. And I think what I'm gonna do is do a dual outlet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually cover these up. I'm gonna do a dual outlet here and here. I may consider, if I have room, doing like a modern Corvette, 4 outlets right across here, but I'm gonna do some measuring to see if I have room for that. And now you can see the fruits of my labor. Here's the tranny cross member, but I have plenty of room here. If you look real close, this direction, I have plenty of room here to run my exhaust out here and out here and keep it away from the transmission by widening this riser. And you can see there, I put the truss in up on top to give me more clearance so I could hold this muffler up as tight as I can without getting the floorboard too hot. So there again, you can see the truss up there. So hey, where there's a will, there's a way. I've also purchased, as you can see, some J-bins with some 45s, a couple 90s, a couple tailpipe tips. I'm not sure I'm gonna keep these. But you can see I'm going to build my own exhaust. It's actually the cheapest way to do it, and I have the equipment to do it. I don't know if I'm going to TIG weld everything, but I'll certainly spot weld it. I have a TIG weld guy that can do that. But anyway, what you're looking at in this view right here is $800 worth of stainless. Okay, my idea for the exhaust exit right now would be coming out the center. I would actually modify the tail pan up. And these would come out something like a newer C7 Corvette. Something like this. Maybe spread them out a little bit, maybe put them together so they all four come out the same. I'm thinking about getting a little bigger diameter. These are kind of small. I'm thinking about going and getting a different set of those. These were reasonably priced, but the other option would be to come out here. I'm not sure I like that. Kind of like them coming out here, maybe spread them apart a little bit, about like that. But anyway, I think I might go bigger diameter. But let me know what you guys think. Out here or in here. Okay, what I did was I went and purchased bigger tips. And now I'm gonna mock them up here. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go with this. So here you go. I'm gonna cut this up in here, do a little relief here. But it's gonna look basically like this. Well, this is the look I'm going for. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I kind of like it. The diameter, the 3.5 diameter is a little big, but it really does match the size of the taillights pretty closely. I think those might be 3 inch, these are 3.5, but 3-inch outlets are hard to find. I measured it, actually the diameter of those bezels on the taillights are 3.5 inches. And what I was going for was a 3.5 inch match on the exhaust tips. But they look big, but I do have some 2.25, but those look very small. So anyway, kind of like this look from the side. Looks pretty mean. So I think I'm gonna stick with that. What I did was I moved them up about another 1/2 inch, and that gives me room for the plate and to build my little flange, the license plate I should say. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm not sure about the depth. I don't think that they won't be sticking out this far. Probably take them back in about 1 inch. I think it'll just look better. Now I have the depth I want. I like that right there. I like the way it sets up in there a little bit more, as you see there. You got clearance. I'm gonna put a lip on there. Nice little rounded. I really like that. If you look, it gives a good uniform distance around where the plate goes. Right there. Yeah, I really like that. I'll probably get a new exhaust panel or valance, whatever they call it. I wanted to mock this one up, or I guess I could go in and patch these holes and stuff, but we'll see. I may get a new one from Kaufman Corvette. They have a 63 with or without the exhaust holes. So that would be 4 side pipes or not side pipes, but of course I'm running mine out the back. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting the new brake rotors on. to get the wheel properly spaced to check my clearances, because without the rotor, with the car up in the air, which means the suspension is down, the tire hits right there on the inside. So I'm putting the rotor on to check it. And then what I'll do is drop the car down on the floor, because that will change the geometry of the steering arm, which is right there. As you can see, it's slanted down. So when you put it down, that steering arm is going to get longer. So we'll see what happens. So what I've done here is I've purchased a steering universal joint from Summit Racing. I did that in order for me to get a D rod or D bar in there, because it's shaped like a D, they say. So now I can get a wrench on there and turn it. I'll turn this all the way. See if it hits with the rotor in place. It looks like it does still hit. I'll show you guys. I'm going to let it down on the suspension to see if that gives us more clearance. I believe it will, based on the geometry of the steering arms. Now you can see with it down on the suspension, and not even with all the weight, you can see got at least, I would say, a 1/2 inch clearance. So that's going to be fine. What I did today was I mounted the old bumpers just to see how these Roaster Shop brackets work. I had to tweak them a little bit, cut a relief in them here, and just bend them just a little, as you can see here. Just a slight bend I put in it right here. Cut a little slot here and just bend them this way just a little bit. So I bent them. If you look at my hand, I bent it this way. Same thing on this one. That one I got a little happy with the gap, but I'll just weld that in. I noticed that this bumper, this bracket is at a lot different angle. The curves aren't. The curves are very much lined up, but that bracket's at an angle, so I'm gonna have to tweak that. I'll just wait for the other set of new ones and see how that works out. Okay, I've been mounting these old stock bumpers. You can see they're surface rusted, but they're good cores. What I found out was probably because I had to shim the body up a little bit. I had to adjust these brackets. So I just cut them, bent them, re-welded them, but I'll grind those smooth. You'll never notice that. So anyway, I got the front bumper, but that's one reason I wanted to do these modifications now. So when I send this Roaster Shop chassis out to get powder coated, anything that I've modified will get powder coated also. So I'll dress those up, smooth them out where I welded them. I have mocked up the front bumpers. You can see these are the old ones, got some rust on them. But I've mocked up the bumpers. And the biggest reason I did that is because a lot of the parts, the braces and stuff, as you can see inside here, are connected to the Roaster Shop chassis. And I did have to modify the braces a little bit, not much, but just a little tweaking here and there because I'm a perfectionist. But yeah, you can see that the bumpers are nice, and they're nice and straight to the stock spec. Did the same thing to the rear. And again, the reason I did this because I had to modify these slightly, just open up the holes a little bit to get these things nice and straight. If you come under here, you can see where they hook to the Roaster Shop chassis up in here, over here through these two bolts. You go out to the outer brackets. So yeah, it's important that you do this when you're putting a whole new chassis underneath the car. Thanks for watching Glaze's Giza Garage this week. I appreciate it. Sorry for the long period between videos. We're getting back to work on the split window. So getting ready to order the LS3 engine. Starting to do some more mock-ups, so things are starting really to come together. Thanks again. Remember, like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate you guys. Hopefully we'll have something for you next week.